Hello, and thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation regarding problem places and how they define a community and the related social impact. This topic is very interesting for interior design because it is related to how people view a space. Problem areas tell of a community's responsibility and how they react to one another, and also how stereotypes are based on visual ideas and based on being compared to normality. What I would like to discuss over this presentation is the idea of labeling people, the creation of problem areas, impact on the community and people regarding problem areas, and I'd also like to touch base on a local problem area and ways to eliminate this problem. To begin with, the topic of labeling people is very key to problem areas. What happens is stereotypes begin to take over. When people are labeled as being a problem, such as smokers, people who drink alcohol, or people who cannot keep a clean house, their whole families are impacted. When one person is associated with being a problem, the whole family is associated with being a problem. In turn, when people live in areas, more and more people begin to associate the area with being a problem. How this results in is more people coming to the area that would be labeled as problem areas. This affects a community because it changes the way in which it is viewed. Problem areas are created when people who would be considered respectful or the proper people to be in an area leave to go to another area of the city because they do not want to be associated with problem areas. As you can see, these pictures demonstrate the area in the top left corner would be considered a problem area based on the deterioration of homes, whereas the picture in the bottom right corner would be considered an ideal neighborhood because everything is well kept. This does not mean that the people in either of these areas are better than the others, however, social standards would say that they are. The impact on the community and the people. When an area is associated with being a problem area, both the people and the community are impacted. The people there are impacted because they are given a bad reputation. This can flow over into other forms, such as school bullying, people unable to get jobs, and other such social impacts, all because they are associated with a common area. If somebody is applying for a job and they're put their place of living in, they may not be able to gain the job just because the owner of the job considers this a problem area, and then they consider them a problem and they do not believe they will be reliable. An example of a problem area would be in London, Ontario along Dundas Street. This area, as you can see from these pictures, has a lot of rundown businesses and not the nicest neighborhood. Personally, I would not live along Dundas Street as it stands right now because I do not feel safe in this area. This is a problem because it affects the whole community. Things are not isolated to one area, and it makes the deterioration of the whole area undesirable. Over time, as more and more undesirables come into town, more and more businesses close and more people shift to other areas of the town. Ways to eliminate problem areas. In the example in London, Ontario, you can see from these pictures, they're trying to promote a standard of living. In order to do this, a main thing is to get community involvement and to make the area appear more. This is where the role of the designer comes in. A designer needs to be able to make an area feel like it's livable, make an area feel desirable, and make an area be a place where people want to be. In order to do this, a designer needs to consider things such as safety, appearance, and just the general emotion somebody gets when they walk into a town. Compared to the last slide, where you can see the deterioration of places, boarded up buildings, boarded up windows, and just the general maintenance of the place and the condition of the buildings is not desirable. When you return to the next slide, you can see what they've tried to do. They've tried to pick materials that are welcoming and inviting and modern so that people will want to live there. The more people that are there, the more people that will take pride in their neighborhood. If a designer designs a building so that people are going to feel comfortable and people want to look after it, they're more likely to look after it. This will spread. Just like when people are associated with a undesirable area, more undesirables come. When people are associated with the up-and-coming or the new areas, more people will come. The more people that come and they want to improve the area, the more improved the area will be. This can be done through things such as community involvement, community spirit, and again, it relies on the designer to create something that is special. Some of these places would include things like parks or community gardens, and like I said, using materials and finishes that are inviting for people. Overall, the role of the interior designer, while addressing problem areas, is to try to create places that people want to live, that people want to take pride in, and that people will be in for the rest of their lives. Once again, thank you for taking time to listen to my presentation.